Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me again on a Sunday morning, just sipping my coffee on an early Sunday morning, talking to my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Your beverage. I still refuse to call that thing a coffee. This is me being picky, being Italian, being no, coffee is something different. But sipping a morning beverage that has caffeine in it, that is as far as I can go today.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why you got to hate on my coffee. I'm enjoying it very much.
It's not yours. It's like it's a different kind of Frenchy like beverage, which it's not admitted in our in our country.
Yeah.
It's there is a coffee that is called Americano. They pronounce it this way in the bars as well, which is like just crazy. And they have basically an espresso and they put hot water in it and said, this is not the brew that they do in America, and it's horrible, and it's not a good thing. Lawrence Field in the chat. Thank you, Lawrence, for being here. Italian cappuccino. Yes, this is the morning beverage.
Okay.
With like a foamy milk, very strong dark coffee. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's very un-American. It's very, very un-American. I just drink black coffee, but
yeah.
So today, there's not. I mean, obviously, no news to announce to anybody. We did have the news that came on Thursday, I think, about AJ Griffin, which is just kind of sad. But I thought it was like relevant, at least to like you and I, because we both really liked him. I think you especially liked him in the draft process just because of his shooting. And it seems like he's stepping away. You hear things about how maybe he just wants to explore life outside of basketball. And it's just a strange situation. I mean, a guy that was picked just right outside the lottery by Atlanta and got traded to the Rockets. I wonder if some of it has to do with just the fact that there was, I mean, how does he even play in Houston? I mean, you look at all the young guys that they have and all the development that they need to do with all those guys. Like, how in the world are they actually going to play him? I think the answer is probably going to be they aren't. And I wonder if that had something to do with it, but it felt like this was kind of where this was headed anyways for him. But, you know, I wish him the best of luck, but it's just kind of sad to see a career like that. He's still young. He can come back and I'm sure catch on with somebody, but I think he's only 21.
Yeah.
But anyways, just kind of some sad AJ Griffin news. It immediately made me think of you, honestly, just because you had such an affinity for him.
Yeah, I mean, I love shooters that have like an NBA caliber body. I think that AJ, in the right context, can be an Isaiah Joe kind of player. Maybe not the same decision maker on offense, but he was like just a dead eye shooter. Sometimes that doesn't translate. I really hope that this is a life decision because it's it can happen. I mean, sometimes you are gifted in whatever area of job, sport, whatever, and you just decide to step away and take care of other stuff. I really hope that he's happy. And sometimes when you don't find the right framework, and I think that Duke was not for him a great framework, nor was Atlanta probably.
Right.
Then you might just relate the framework with the actual thing. You step away, you relax, you may travel, you may find like other basketball realities, maybe in Europe or somewhere else, and say, hey, this is the basketball that I remembered. Maybe this is a cool thing for me. It's sometimes it happens, and sometimes you just close a chapter of your life and then move on. It's like teaching. I mean, I used to love teaching. I know that you do it, you do as well. You still do probably. And sometimes you say, okay, this in this moment of my life, for very different reason, probably from AJ's, this is not the time for me for that thing anymore.
Mhm.
You step away, and you may try to find other niche in your life to just have that thing, like teaching little stuff here and there. Maybe not the same as before.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least for me, I know that for you,
I'm teaching Sunday school here in a couple hours. So yes,
yeah.
I do find
Yeah, I'm not. I know that for you it was not like, hey, I decided to step away.
Right.
For me, it
Yeah.
was because it was the moment to leave university and college and find like real life.
Mhm.
So that's that can happen. I really hope that he will see maybe in 3 years in your league, like just bombing and be successful, smiley, and
Mhm.
just in peace with basketball again.
Yeah. Yeah. So today I thought we could, this will be a little bit of a short show. I thought we could dig into Hartenstein and Caruso just a little bit. Specifically, I've been talking about Caruso's passing. I kind of did a deep dive on Hartenstein's passing as well. And I thought I could bring up some clips and we could just talk through them a little bit as to how these guys are going to help. Because I think we talked about how these guys accentuate what the Thunder do. And that might even be underselling it a little bit.
Mhm.
I think that these guys are both going to help in such big ways that when people talk about the Thunder being like the favorite in the West or the team to beat in the Western Conference, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's inaccurate. I think that with the growth that they're going to have from their big three, plus adding these two guys who are just such smart basketball players. Like they were, and it's funny to think about this because I think Presti said this about Caruso, is like he's like the quintessential Thunder player. Like these guys, even before they were Thunder players, they were already Thunder players with the
Yeah.
way they play the game. Like they are both just smart with the ball in their hands, playing without the ball. Defensively, they bring it. The competitiveness that they both possess is just out the wazoo. I just think like there's a lot to really like about them. And so I wanted to just look specifically at the passing, and uh I've grouped together some clips of Caruso from Chicago's regular season. I grouped together some passing from the playoffs for Hartenstein, and just to kind of accentuate like specific kinds of passes that they have. You know, when I show you the Caruso ones, these are essentially just like the quick decisions that he
Mhm.
makes. And I think that that's going to be really important for the Thunder because of the way that they drive and kick the basketball. When the ball hits his hands, and this happens a lot with guys, for the most part, it's just a shot for guys like Dort or even Isaiah Joe. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like they need guys to do that. But when the ball is going to hit Caruso's hands, there's going to be way more possibilities when it does. And a lot of that is because the defense is actually going to react to him, which is what will be different about Giddey on the court versus one of these two guys. And we'll discuss that in detail as we kind of watch these. But this is a great time to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I'm going to walk us through uh, some of these clips, and I think that it's good just to be able to watch it as well because we'll kind of rewind and talk about how one of these clips is more meaningful and why that is. And so and the best person to help me with that is Michele. So first we're going to talk about Caruso and just how his quick decision making can help OKC on a regular basis, which I think he will. And the more I watched him, the more excited I got about the possibility of him starting, and him
Yeah.
starting with I mean, in the place of Giddey. And you think about, oh, they're going to lose. Are they going to lose this? They're going to lose that. Like, I don't know. I think he's just going to make things so much better. So, anyways, here are these clips, and we're just going to kind of talk over them. Just when the ball hits his hands, it just moves so quickly. Like, there's very little thought. Like, he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's just helping find open shots for his Bulls teammates.
Yeah. These are like clips where either there is a dribble penetration and you have the pass out to Caruso, or ones that you have a deep seal, deep post position, and Caruso plays with that either as a receiver and or just a guy who this is probably one of my favorite clips. There is Williams that is driving to the basket. The window is kind of closed because he has two guys on him. Pass to the top of the key. Caruso in a split of a second just repass the ball to him.
Yeah.
To me, the thing that is special about every one of these clips is that, yes, Caruso is an exceptional decision maker, but as soon as the ball is going towards Caruso, the defense is in, oh, damn, I need to close out mode. And like before we started recording, we were saying, yeah, the Giddy is more than capable to do that pass and more. But the defense just doesn't react.
Yeah.
Giddy,
This one specifically, like watch DeMar DeRozan. He's going to hit him in the corner, and then Lowry is there, space to help with the defense. And watch what Lowry does. He immediately runs over to him, which opens up the offense. I mean, that's that, like you were saying, like that's the thing that's going to be the difference between throwing the ball to Giddy on the wing, and which guys just stay. They just stay where they are, and it limits what Giddy can do with the basketball.
Yeah.
You know, where with Caruso, the ball is going to hit his hand. Somebody's going to be running toward him, and that's how like his brain and his basketball mind just really just like the light bulb turns on. He is open and they're not reacting enough, and he's just going to shoot it.
Yeah.
Or the ball's going to hit his hands. The defense reacts in a big way, and then he knows that, okay, something is open back up. And a lot of times it's right back inside. And I think that's going to help so much because that's what the Thunder offense is, just like drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. And a lot of times they just found open threes on the perimeter, which, you know, Caruso is going to have a lot of those. But also there are guys that are going to cut. I think this is going to be really helpful for specifically Chet, because I think once the ball hits Caruso, the defense reacts. Chet's going to have some kind of mismatch almost all the time. And so I think that Caruso is going to help him with that specific.
If you stick with this clip, there is Drummond that is basically seeing the post and Caruso at the top of the key. This is something that we Chet on the court we almost never saw, like a guy that was doing deep seals. Because, I mean, Chet was used as the, hey, I need to space the court as well.
Yeah.
In order to make room for penetration at the rim or make room for like just Giddy or something like that. If you think about a unit that has J-Dub, Shea, Caruso, Chet Holmgren, and Isaiah Joe, or Kaysen Wallace, that are slightly, well, Kaysen is a slightly better option at a 3-ball than Lou Dort. Isaiah Joe is a much better option. In that case, you can have Chet one-on-one in the deep post, which is something that I know that people don't want to use Chet necessarily as the big man, but Chet around the rim is extremely good. Yeah. So having Chet like maybe playing a pick and roll with Dub or Shea, then getting down low because you need to switch it immediately, and you may have Caruso on the wing. You pass it to Caruso because there is like a certain double that can happen with Chet if he's guarded by a small guy. Caruso has either a wide open shot or an avenue to repass to Chet Holmgren, which is now like under the basket, just waiting for that. So when we discussed and we said it a lot, and I think that Mark Dagnall is the commander of this, saying like, this is the worst version of Chet Holmgren that you will ever see.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he specifically was saying on offense or in general, but I mean, I think that this is also what they were discussing. Like, they can unlock Chet so much because when he gets the ball deep, even if he's guarded by like a tall guy, he is effective. He has a great touch right there. Mm-hmm. So I think that adding movement towards the basket and just occupying that area is extremely important. And yes, Caruso may be one of the guys that make that happen because, I mean, in all these clips, it's abundantly clear to me that whenever is outside of the 3-point line with space, the defense is reacting immediately. And if it doesn't, then bonus. I mean,
Yeah.
Caruso is a 40% 3-point shooter when wide open, maybe better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones because the ball hits him twice and he has a defender that's close to him and Donovan Mitchell this whole time. Like, watch Donovan Mitchell. Like, he reacts when the ball when the ball gets to Caruso. He's right in his face. Back to DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan doesn't have anything there, and then he immediately throws just a beautiful post-entry pass, just that gets Vucevic right in the right position to just get an easy layup over Dean Wade. I mean, it's just that's just a quintessential Caruso play. I'll run through these again, but I just think that his quick decision making paired with his ability to shoot the basketball is going to help OKC so much, and is going
yeah.
to be such a big addition to what they do. And that's not even talking about like this isn't even the thing he's best at. The thing that he's best at is as a defensive player that's going to defend really anybody that can play on the perimeter. I mean, honestly, anybody. It doesn't matter how tall you are or small you are, he's going to defend, be able to defend the best guy on the perimeter. Like, this is just an additive piece that is going to generate points. It's going to generate better offense. It's going to generate better chemistry too. Like, passes like that, guys love to play with Alex Caruso. They really like him personally.
Yeah.
But then also, I think they like to play with him too because he does stuff like this. He just makes the game easier for everybody. And, last year you think about, and honestly, like, this is just a part of playing with Josh Giddey when he doesn't have the ball, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's just kind of the way the Thunder evolved.
Yeah.
But playing with Josh got really tough. It got really tough, and they had to adjust in a lot of ways to figure out how to play with him. And they personally really liked him. And I think that they wanted it to work, and they wanted to help him figure out a way for it to work. But it was visibly very difficult.
Yeah.
And so I think adding Caruso to that group, it's just going to be a breath of fresh air because, one, there are no weaknesses defensively in that starting lineup. Like, there's nobody to attack, really. And who would you attack? I mean, I guess Shea would be the one, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the way in which OKC uses their schemes, Shea rarely plays a guy who screens slash attacks because they want him to be well rested.
Yeah.
If they start attacking him, Shea's a good defender. Shea's not a bad defender. You may get
That's the thing.
you may get him one-on-one sometimes, but it's it's not that Luka on Shea is a Luka basket every single time. Especially, I think that will be the idea, like trying to get the guy who Shea guards as a screener.
Mm-hmm.
But then OKC will just switch a lot.
Yeah.
And just deny the screen because those guys are able to fight through the screen or just to deny it. So it's I don't know, like, try to screen out Lou Dort if you are not like a very tall guy. And if you put the tall guy against Shea, then I don't know that you are doing something good. So it's not easy to exploit Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, especially with the guys that are at the point of attack.
Yeah,
this is what I was trying to say. I had to do it in 3.5 minutes while babbling too much. But anyhow, hard to screen out, hard to screen him out. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is going to be unbelievable, and that's just talking about Caruso. Hartenstein, and we're going to show some of his passing clips too. But again, this will be like an additive thing for Hartenstein. This is not like his best attribute as a player. It's a really good one, but again, his best attribute is defensively, I think. He was one of 5 players in the NBA last year to have 80 blocks and 80 steals, which you're adding a team that had like the highest turnover percentage for an opponent in the NBA last year. You're adding 2 guys that create chaos on the defensive end in Hartenstein and Caruso.
Yeah.
80 blocks and 80 steals is kind of crazy. And then to think about the rim protection that is going to exist for 48 minutes as long as the team is healthy. Team shot 52% at the rim against when Hartenstein was on the floor. I guess against Hartenstein. And the Knicks, I think, were like 60% when Hartenstein was on the floor, which would have been the best in the NBA. He provides so much rim defense just with his intelligence. And that intelligence bleeds over onto the offensive end too. Both guys that I think that people have properly rated this offseason for the Thunder because they talk about it so much. But I wonder if some of like the little things go under the radar with these guys, specifically just their ability to connect the team.
Can I say something about Hartenstein really quick before we go into the clips?
Yeah,
I just want to give a shout out to John Hamm.
Yeah.
John is probably the first guy in the Oklahoma stratosphere that when Hartenstein was still on the Clippers and not really playing all that much, was saying, you know what, that guy's going to be good. I said, yeah, good, but like he's an old model center. Why do you like him? And he was just, he's a quick brain, like stuff like that, good value.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 100% right. I'm not sure that he had in his mind the 30 millions and stuff like that. But he was really into his stocks not in a, hey, let's try him out. No, it was just a great framing of Hartenstein and why he could have been effective even if he was not really a shooter.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to John Hamm for noticing that early because it is certainly true. I want to just remind people like how the Thunder got Hartenstein is essentially because of the Gordon Hayward trade. And we've mentioned that on this show many times, but I don't know if that slipped through the cracks for some people, is that they essentially traded Micic, Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, a couple second round picks for just the shot to sign Hartenstein. Is like what this all came down to. Like, with these guys on the roster, they were not going to be able to offer him. And so the trade, and while we are going to think back with hate in our hearts about Gordon Hayward's tenure with the Thunder, just because it was, maybe it's not hate. I look back on it with
sadness.
Honestly, it's not even sadness for me. It's like sincere confusion as to what in the world was going through this guy's head. And like, why couldn't he just keep it together enough just to like, could we not just have like a nice end cap to your career? If just shoot the ball when it hits your hands, just play defense, just play. And if you want to be done, then you can be done. But obviously humans are just so much more complex than that.
But even like, if you suppose that you cannot because your body doesn't respond and blah, blah, it's just at an exit interview, just say, hey, it has been extremely tough for me. I'm not sure what lies ahead. The coaching staff tried its best to put me on the court as many times as possible, and it's just I wasn't able to respond. Like, I don't know why. Maybe changing the role I was not used to. I tried, but it just never worked for me. I'm really sad that it never worked. I don't know what happens to me in the next few months. I have a lot in front of me to unwind and decouple.
Yeah,
that would have been a perfect ending, just a perfect ending. Nobody would be mad at him. Mm-hmm. We would just realize Gordo is an old man, is probably not going to ever play again. And this just, and OKC tried.
Yeah.
I really think that had it be the exactly what I said, the exit interview, that would have been accepted, and almost like you could actually feel for the guy. Like, hey, he wasn't able to be effective and he wanted to. what can you say to him?
Yeah.
Instead is, hey, you're like, really?
Really?
Really? This is where you're going? Okay.
Yeah. Whirly Squirrely in the chat says that was a fleecing by the Hornets. I,
Um,
I, I mean, I think honestly, okay, let's just think about it this way. Are any of the guys that the Thunder traded to them going to be impact players for them when they're good? Like maybe Trey Mann could be. Maybe. And there's a chance
really?
that he's not. You're the ultimate Trey Mann believer over there. I just have
I think that he could be a decent guy off the bench.
Yeah.
With space and time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's a top 8 guy in a playoff rotation. Not after season 2.5, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I don't think that he's able to do that. But I mean, just the ability to go and sign Hartenstein, who we're going to watch some clips of now. I would do it over and over again. Like there's no
in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And if both teams are doing it in a heartbeat, great.
Yeah, great.
Just win-win.
Yeah, win-win. Yeah, and it does help the Hornets. They just get to try out more guys, in the phase that they're in, which is helpful to them. They weren't going to do anything with the cap space or the expiring contract of Gordon Hayward. So yeah, they get a couple seconds that likely won't be impactful, and then you get to try out Trey Mann. Is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at some of these Hartenstein passes. Again, these are more. He does several different types of passes. One that was like extremely common that I'm really excited to see was specifically J-Dub, because I think you could see this with second units is just like DHO actions, which the Thunder didn't really get into a whole lot. I think he's going to be amazing in that position specifically. But these are more connector passes. These are more showing his IQ. These are in playoff games, so these are in tight spots. These are in places where like every possession matters, and he's making really good decisions with the basketball. So here he is with just kind of a broken play, and just with the recognition that he's got. That's the thing that just sticks out with all of these passes. Just the on-court recognition is just on all the time, and it's quick. Again, similar to the Caruso clips that I just showed, where it's just ball hits his hands. There's not a lot of thinking. It's just he's such a rhythmic player, which I think is, watching him is probably what attracted Presti to him so much. It's just he plays with just sincere rhythm all the time. And that's something that the Thunder want to have. It's just less pattern, more rhythm is a thing the Thunder have said. And specifically Presti has said over the course of the last few years. And that is like Hartenstein. When you watch him, especially as a passer, it's like he's playing like this is jazz music. You could put some jazz music over this, over these clips, and it would fit just fine, because like that is how he's playing. He's playing with a rhythm. He's playing with timing. He just knows how the game works, and you can just see it just unfold.
Yeah, and again, I am about to repeat myself, but if you look at these clips, go to YouTube, just watch it for a few seconds, and try to count as many seconds Hartenstein remains without the guy that is running towards him. It's almost never a full second, which nobody seeing Hartenstein with the ball in his hands is just making a step back. They may stay at about 2.5, 3 feet of distance in some areas of the court. This is, for example, a terrible defense. Why do you want to be glued to Hartenstein at top of the key? I have no idea. But it's no. This is a more proper, even if it's a little bit too much for me again. But it's not. Hey, I'm staying below the rim, and I'll leave Hartenstein free. Because if Hartenstein, when he is at the free throw line, makes a dribble, that floater that he has is an extremely good shot. And right there is where the passing can happen. Because if you don't close out to Hartenstein, he will just beat you with the floater. If you do close out, like Lowry is doing right now with Embiid, then someone will just lose sight of one guy. And in that moment, Batum is guarding basically two guys, Anunoby on the like on the wing tree, and Josh Hart on the baseline, and he can't decide. And as soon as Hartenstein realized that Hart has a step, he just doesn't go with the dribble, just pass it to him timely. It's just, again, when you have a guy that is guarding you and maybe doubling you if you're too close to the basket, then someone else is open, and that someone else for OKC will be a good two-grade shooter or a good two-grade offensive player. And this is just the strategy that OKC put on this offseason, improving defense passing while getting guys that can really be effective and efficient on offense. It's almost like those three things together are important for basketball.
I don't know who's starting. I don't know how they're going to do this. I've already given my opinion on what I think they could do or should do with Caruso sliding in there for Giddey, but I could see it where you'd want to have Hartenstein as the big and you just play bigger. I can't help but think about just second units running through Hartenstein while I watch these clips, and specifically guys like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, who are really good at moving without the basketball.
Yeah,
and when the ball hits his hands, like he's just going to find these guys. He can be like a hub of an offense at times, where, especially right here, when he can get in the middle of the court, you can get him the ball. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to make the right decision with the ball. And I just think he is and again, like, this isn't his best skill. Like, this isn't what he's best at. I think defensively, what the Thunder were missing in the Mavs series, and remember, like, the Mavs and the Thunder scored literally the exact same amount of points. They were a foul away from getting to a game 7. This was a very close series. And if you had somebody like Hartenstein that was able to defend the paint in that series, I think the Thunder, like, not only win the series, I think that they win it pretty easily.
Yeah. Or if their role players shot the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. Sometimes a series is decided by a few factors. I think that the minutes without Chattanooga were definitely a factor, especially because on the other end, like, Lively just demolished their defense, their offense, I would say, in many occasions. And it's not just the defensive stuff; it's also an offensive stuff for those units. Because with Jay Will, I mean, you can say the same thing about Giddey. Basically, nobody will just go out and guard Jay Will. If you have a Caruso and Hartenstein in those units, it will change, because Hart will play different spots, and he will be guarded right there. If Lively is glued to Hartenstein, and Hartenstein has like the ability to pass, either you double him or you have at least a good one-on-one, which is something that Shea did not have in those moments. It's just a doubling. So it's I really think that you really improve in all those three key areas, like passing the ball and scoring and rim protection, creating turnovers. We mentioned everything during these few months. I can't wait. I just can't wait to see it all unfold. Maybe we have like our I don't know. Maybe we are looking at things in a too enthusiastic way. But I mean,
I don't know. I think these guys are just that good. I think it's similar to like adding Andre Iguodala to the Warriors, where when you added him to the team, it unlocks so many things. One, defensively, he was such a monster.
yeah,
And two, he's such a good decision maker with the ball that it just helped put everybody in the right position.
yeah.
I think like both of these guys do that. I think if you just added one of those, I would probably be making that comp to one or the other. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, but they added two of them,
Yeah.
and took away the guy and Giddey's really talented. It's really hard to talk about. He's hard to talk about because without it feeling like you're insulting him. But like I really think he's a good NBA player that's going to make it. But when it comes to this team, I think a lot of times he took, especially in the role that he was in, he probably took more off the table than he added. Unless he was the slob wizard and he was like #1 player in the world doing that.
Yeah, but also just think about the Pelicans. In that series, he played perfect. He made his shots, and he was adding. But the point is, in order for him to be an addition to the Thunder instead of a subtraction, he had to be a 6, 7 threes a game guy with
Yes.
36, 37,
He had to
38%.
do that. He had to do that every time. Yeah, he had to be
Exactly.
that guy every game, and it was not that every game. And that's not his fault. Like that's just not the player that he is. But and credit to him, he really tried.
Yeah.
He sincerely tried to be the guy that they wanted him to be, and it just was not working. And that's okay. But all I'm saying is, these guys are the guys that we want them to be already. Like they're not going to bring them in and say, "Hey, we need you to do something different." No, like they're going to say, "We want you to be who you are for us," and I think it's going to make them better. Like I think the Thunder offense and defense has made guys like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe better basketball, like look better on the court because they fit so well with what they do. I think the same thing could happen with these two.
Yeah.
You bring them in, it's like, oh my gosh, like they are so helpful. They're so good. Look at all these little things they do. Look at how they're helping the offense, how they're helping the defense. I think that we have high opinions of these guys already. I think our opinions of them could be even higher by season's end just because of how well they're going to fit within what they do. And so I just think that when we talk about the Thunder being the favorites in the West, I think clearly you think about the Thunder's big three first, which you should. They're going to be the biggest reason that this is even possible. But the offseason additions, while rated highly, still could be underrated because who these guys are and like the small things they do. Because like we just talked about their connective passing today and showed clips of their connective passing. It's not their best attributes, but yet I think it's going to be something that's going to help them a lot. So, okay, I've got to go. Appreciate you guys tuning in on a Sunday morning. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should. Would very much appreciate that. We will have some fun, exclusive content coming at you in the next 15 days or so. So be sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. For this episode, I would just suggest watching it on YouTube. I think you can listen to it. But you can also watch it on YouTube. It will be more helpful. So put it up on your TV, watch it on your phone, however you want to do it. But please do hit subscribe and hit the like button. If you're watching right now, just hit the like button. That's my only ask of you on this Sunday morning. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.